All right, let's just jump right into it, huh? So this was a donation deck submission that is a slightly updated take on an older archetype that has been reasonable in the past. This is a combo control deck or Splinter Twin for the kids that just don't want Splinter Twin to be let go. So we've got Felidar Guardian here. This is what enters the battlefield. You may exile another target permanent you control and then put it back into play. And then Saheeli Rai says, create a token that's a copy of target artifact or creature, except it's an artifact in addition to its other type. That token gets haste. So when you Saheeli Rai Felidar Guardian, it blinks, the Felidar Guardian token comes into play and resets Saheeli Rai, which then lets you make another Felidar token. So these two together, which were actually standard legal together at one point, make infinite 1/4s with haste for you to kill your opponent. The rest of the deck is just kind of a Jeskai control / tempo shell. We've got Bolt, Path, Helix, and Counterspell as interactive points. We've got Snapcaster Mage to kind of tie the room together and recast those as needed. We've got Opt for a little bit of card selection. And then we've got Spreading Seas as well as Teferi Time Raveler as kind of value things for Felidar to be able to blink to get card draw off of this. This way this card's a little bit better when you're not comboing with it. So you can do things like blink Spreading Seas to change what land it is on and draw another card. You can minus your Teferi to draw a card and then blink Teferi to reset its loyalty to bounce something and draw another card, etc. You could technically flicker Snapcaster Mage on occasion too, but that's a little bit more expensive because obviously to get value out of that, you got to blink this and then still have mana to do one of these other things. In the mana base, I am trying a Hall of the Storm Giants as well as a Jeskai Triome, so pretty typical stuff there. I've got a cheeky copy of Nyx in the sideboard, so I think this card's pretty reasonable right now with all of the elemental decks that are running around, as well as the various Cascade decks that are cascading into 0-mana Rhinos and stuff. So let's dive on into some games with this and see how it feels this morning. What's going on, Mino? Thank you for the 25 months. Welcome back. And Tater, thanks for upping for the 8th month. I appreciate the 2/3 of a year. Thanks for keeping me around, Tate. Oh, and it's cool. Good morning, and thank you for 28. You were playing Maldrotha, and you were queued in an endless series of Golos, Ugin, Brawl, and Prismatic Ending. Yeah, I could have told you that would be the case, Genex. Maldrotha is considered one of the better commanders. It is a top shelf, top tier commander, whatever you want to call it. It's one of the reasons I won't play it on stream. What's the reason this deck isn't playing sweepers while other blue-white control decks are? Well, I challenge your statement with the statement that there really aren't established blue-white decks in this format. They've all largely been pushed out. Which popular decks do you really want a bunch of sweepers against? Sweepers really aren't stellar against a lot of the things going on. I guess they clean up like Urza Saga tokens. They make multiple Urza Sagas, but Spreading Seas also helps deal with Urza Saga cleanly. Yeah, blue-white control, blue-white X control has largely been pushed out of the format. Which, thank God. not having to play against that is a true godsend. I'm sure now that I said that, we're going to queue into like Hallowed Fountains 3 or 4 times this league. Because that's just like how karma works. But in general, much happier not experiencing that. All right, they're a Jeskai deck as well. They could be an Omnath deck. I didn't want to change the submitted deck list as significantly as significant. I didn't want to change a deck list as significantly as it would, but there's definitely merit to thinking about the fact, should this deck, I'm just looking for a land tier, should this deck that we're currently playing be an Omnath deck? Because Omnath is a card that you can blink for value. Yeah, but like, so like random B-list pro post archetype that they're known for posting, like saying Wafo Tapo posted a control deck, so it's a thing, is like saying Jeff Hoagland posted a Kiki Core deck list, so it's a thing. It's like, well, yes, but also no. And like, for the record, like, Kiki Court has posted more results in recent memory than blue-white control has even, and even that I wouldn't say is like an established deck that you're going to run into consistently. Kiki Courts top 8'd a couple of the Moto challenges and top 8'd the Hunter Burton Memorial Tournament in Texas last weekend or the weekend before. It was a 200 player event. Your Prismatic Ending here. Peak modern Magic the Gathering is we're playing at something that hasn't existed in the format really for a little while now, and 2, I've drawn 3 Path to Exiles in a matchup where they are likely useless. So now the question is, do I plus the Teferi? I think I'm just supposed to draw a card. It means this dies to Bolt, but it's already dying to like Snapcaster Prismatic Ending. So I think I want to just go ahead and get my guaranteed card draw in from it. Even if they have a Bolt here, it's still a 2-for-1. They spent a card to kill my cantrip. Prismatic Ending, yeah, they spent a card to kill my cantrip. I made it to 2 years, or is it 1 March? Asking the real questions. Welcome back, setters. I think especially with all these Path to Exiles in my hand, we're just going to go ahead and aggressively cantrip this the Spreading Seas here. I mean, like, a lot of the people that are in the Magic Hall of Fame, like, they haven't, like, Brian Kibler's in the Magic Hall of Fame, but, like, he's not someone that like, you told me Brian Kibler was playing Magic Deck X, I wouldn't think he's an authority on the deck list. Like, obviously, Wafo Tapo's a premier Magic player, but, like, or a premier card game player, but when was the last time he played a bunch of Magic and put up Magic results, right? Like, especially in the realm of like how drastically these formats have changed in recent months, right? Like it's like saying random person who put up a bunch of top 8s a decade ago should be considered an authority on the game still today. Like, that's just not how it works. Like, if you don't keep up, you fall off and you aren't familiar with like things that are going on. So like, can you correct me if I'm wrong? What are recent tournaments or grinding that Wafo Tapo has done? Feel free to fill me in and provide a correction, but like the idea that like player made Magic Hall of Fame, so like they're an authority for now and forever is like very silly, right? Hey, thanks to whoever checked out the Marvel promo. Appreciate you taking a couple minutes out of your day to do that. I genuinely don't know how we win this matchup. We just don't have enough threats, right? I have like 3 Snapcaster Mages and a Hall of the Storm Giants and not a whole lot else. What's going on, Zangrief? 19 months makes me an authority at 19 months. What's going on? Thanks for the tier 2. That's very generous of you. I mean, Resolve Teferi doesn't even really do anything, Scholar. Like, I resolved Teferi this game. They like, Jeskai gets to play Vindicate now. Resolving Teferi isn't meaningful. And even if it was meaningful, we got to, like, they have bolts and stuff, too. Getting burned out? Sure. I'm at 15 and they're at 16, though. Yep, yeah, exclamation point Marvel in chat. Get you my affiliate link. You check it out and play that to level 2. You add 1 to the ticker in the corner. And if we get the ticker to 175 by Friday evening, I'm going to add a bonus stream on Saturday. And if we get to my 225 stretch goal, I'm going to do that stream in costume. Which costumes? I don't know. I haven't figured it out yet. I got a few of them. I got a few of them around, though. This is like Kiki Cord. It's actually nothing like Kiki Cord. It has an infinite combo like Kiki Cord, but that's about where the comparisons end. The good news is our opponent's not going to kill us anytime soon either. I would bet their deck has an advantage in this matchup though because they don't have a combo in it, and cards like Saheeli and Felidar Guardian are lower quality cards for us. Although with the spreading season play, Felidar Guardian does at least cantrip, so we've got that going for us. We are up 2 minutes on clock damage. That is accurate. If they have things like 5 mana Teferi, though, we're going to be in trouble. All right. I mean, they're theoretically at 9, right? It's a shame we drew 4 Path to Exiles. Expressive Iteration. Yeah, there's a card that buries us. We should be playing this. This could just be better than Opt. Draw 2's pretty good. Morning Beansy. Got me. Am I supposed to keep that? Part of me thinks I'm supposed to keep that. It could also be right to hold this to try and counterspell something, but yeah, I think the odds of it getting counterspelled is high. This actually doesn't have anything to fetch in my deck, so I'm just gonna leave it there. No real point in playing out. Go after their red sources here. I mean, like, they have 7 cards in their hand. There's no way they're getting burned out. So Sphinx's Revelation. Secure the Waste. All right, we're super dead. Got it. I would, like I said, I would wager this matchup is close to impossible. We get to like add in slightly more threats and counter spells here, but I would bet that this is truly atrocious for us. So we get to cut these paths and bring in a couple of Geists, a couple of Force of Negations, and a Disdainful Stroke. We get to trim a Lightning Helix, I guess. Do I just bring in Sanctifier en-Vec as a threat? Yeah, I'm gonna bring in Grizzly Bear that doesn't die to lightning, that doesn't die to bolt. What do I want? Engineered explosives. Oh, for secure the waste? Yeah, I guess. It's probably marginally better than a bolt. I'm actually going to leave the Helixes in instead of the bolts because there's a chance they burn us out in spots. And the extra mana, I think, probably doesn't matter that much. It is pretty peak modern discussing a deck that hasn't been popular or put up any results recently and then immediately queuing into it. It's about how Magic goes. The matchup variance in formats like modern tends to be very extreme. That's not even really limited to modern. It's pretty extreme in formats like historic too, which is like part of Magic's non-rotating format stuff. What's going on? Fight me. Thank you for the 20 months. I appreciate the prime. Welcome back. Bolt snap bolt. The 11-month resub while we're playing Snapcasters and Bolts seems appropriate. Happy Wednesday to you. Yeah, I guess we could probably assume they have 3 mana Teferi post board, and maybe Prismatic Ending is fine for that. Could be a reasonable assumption. But Prismatic Ending doesn't tag 5 mana Teferi or Jace, like you said. Which is actually another reason to be in a 4th color for things like Omnath, because you get that extra color for Prismatic Ending, you get some flexibility on it. I'm supposed to be jamming a Saheeli. It could be right. And technically, like, force pitch the other one if they play a big Planeswalker next turn. Alright, in for Raveling time. Divination resolves. Opponent has 9 cards in hand, so they're going to play a land and be down to 8 cards. You're likely going to see them cast at least a spell this turn, otherwise they have to discard the hand size. Could be a Prismatic to get rid of the Saheeli, could be a couple of burn spells. Speaking of Bolt Snap Bolt, we could see that to get rid of our Planeswalker. We could also see the opponent sit here and burn endless time off their clock, because that's how Magic the Gathering Online works. Okay, well, we're getting our Planeswalker for another turn. Hey, chat, we have our win con engaged. 16 more activations on Saheeli here. We're gonna get him. It's fine. Opt now in case we find a land. Yeah, I think I'll take all actually. And then I'm just gonna pass for the turn, holding up Force of Negation, and then we have 6 lands. So next turn I can Saheeli with Force Up. Nah, Arena's greatest strength compared to other forms of Magic is rate of play, hands down. It's just so fast to play games of Magic on. Going on, Abernathy? Good morning. My body is ready to get Mystic Disputed. What? Deal. Gonna cash this in for a card. I think we just hold up Counterspell since we drew it. Supposed to go up there because I have the Counterspell. What are the odds they're pulled to this hall, the Storm Giants? Show me Path to Exile. Okay. How long does Magic Online give you to mulligan? You have 7 minutes and 59 seconds for any individual action on Magic Online. Well, so some of these control decks have been cutting Path to Exile. They've at least been trimming on them or getting rid of them altogether in favor of Prismatic Ending. So, like, they might not have 4 paths in their 75 to begin with. Is that an 8-minute pool or 8-minute per decision? So you have 25 total minutes on Magic Online as your match timer, and you don't get punished for letting it run until you let 8 minutes go on a single game action. So obviously you can't take 8 minutes every game action, but you can take 8 minutes on a single game action so long as you play fast enough for the rest of your match. And very similar to Arena, the match timers on Moto are long to the point where, generally speaking, you're not going to get punished for taking a long time at several points. Hey, thanks to whoever checked out the Marvel promo. Appreciate you taking a few minutes of your time to support my content. I think that's a better system than the rope. No, it's fucking atrocious. The Magic Online priority system and round timer is a big reason why I play more Magic Arena than not. It's incredibly frustrating for your opponent to be able to take infinite time and not get punished for it. You basically get held hostage if someone wants to waste your time. I have at least 2 to 3 people per league when I play Serpentall that like are clearly just AFK or doing something else while they're playing Moto. They'll just be like at a point where there's no hard decisions to make, and they just like run their timer for 2 to 3 minutes because they're clearly not there. We're playing Kiki on Friday, Raymundros. You can always find my schedule on my website, as well as pinned on my Twitter page. I'm gonna attempt to kill this Teferi. See if they have another Snapcaster Mage to block with, or secure the waste. Alright, well, that was much better than Celestial Colonnade would have been there, huh? Colonnade would not have killed their Planeswalker. I think the current Moto clock would be fine if the total match timer was much more reasonable. So like if like the total Moto timer is like 15 or 20 minutes, I think that would be fine. But it's not, so it's not really fine. Yes, and always yield is a key feature that Arena is definitely missing. I think I'm just gonna pass here. Am I? Yeah, I'm gonna pass. I'm gonna hold up snap counterspell / snap opt, I think. And no, you're fine, Remoon. Part of the reason I give people swords is so if their financial situation changes, they can still hang out so long as they're being reasonable people. The sub only chat is largely just to keep obnoxious people out, more so than because I want to restrict people's ability to chat an incredible amount. Crockett, thanks for the 27 months. Welcome back. Little Kinsey, thanks for re-upping that prime. I appreciate it. And J-Man, thanks for the tier 2 and the 22 months. Arena needs better loop detection. I mean, I assume you saying that as a person you don't have a strong math or computer background, because determining that someone is in a loop is a fairly is the furthest thing from trivial you can get, essentially. It is an incredibly I bottomed the Felidar Guardian, by the way. Yeah, detecting loops is a fairly complex math problem. Just as an FYI. Okay, so the Teferi resolving here is decent for us, because it means I get to cantrip this, and then we might actually get to combo kill him. Thanks for the subgift, Niv. Yeah, so if they don't kill the Felidar Guardian, I assume they're like, Colonnade's gonna kill the Teferi, or they're gonna bolt the Teferi, and the next turn we get to lead on Teferi and then play Saheeli afterwards, which is nice. Yeah, so it's so people saying it's the halting problem. It's the answer to your statement is yes, but also no, because like Magic, you're not trying to detect all loops, you're just trying to detect magic loops. So like you can detect magic loops, right? Like there's a finite number of loops that occur in Magic the Gathering. It's not easy or trivial to make sure you cover all of them and that you handle all of them in elegant manners, but it's definitely not as complicated as like a generic halting problem. The more complicated part, and this is where the complexity comes in from the Magic perspective, is that programming specific loops to be detected isn't necessarily difficult. The difficult part is you have to detect a loop, but also understand if one of the players could be disrupting the loop and might want to disrupt the loop at a certain point. Because there's certain situations where you want your opponent to execute their loop, n times and then disrupt it. So, you can't like loop detect at n-1 if they might want to interact with it at n. So that's where the complexity comes from a Magic game rule standpoint. So there's simplicity from there's a finite number of loops we need to detect, but there's complexity from, okay, there might be interaction points where we need to only like do something about this loop and detect it after this point where they might want to interact, and that's a lot of complexity. Someone has died to Rakdos Charm. Yeah, Rakdos Charm is one of the cleanest examples of you might want a detection in here. If Felidar is legal, why isn't Twin? Well, Felidar combo technically gets disrupted by a lightning bolt. Is a big difference. So I'm gonna be greedy and keep this hand on the draw. We obviously need another land, but our spells are really good. Hey, I appreciate it, Chronically. Alright, so we got 3 shots at a second land here. See if we get punished. Yeah, I think we just go ahead and do this, because if they want to, like, untap and play a Teferi, we then get to untap and play Geist to Saint Trash. This is definitely a card capable of stealing this matchup. Do I force a Teferi? Not forcing that one. That one resolves. This hand's panned out very well. Unless they've got a Supreme Verdict hiding in their deck post board, we should be in a pretty good spot here. Yeah, this is the exact matchup Geist is in our deck for. Oh no, are we getting Mystic disputed? Oh no! Oh no! My Geist! Chat, my Geist is saying trash. It was supposed to be our ace in the hole. And they get 1 mana leak against my Geist is saying trash? Oh man. This card was already garbage, and now it just gets Eldrained too? Oh no. Nothing is safe from Eldraine, chat. Not even my poopy cards. I'm all alone. There's no one here beside me. We're just gonna go ahead and pass here with counterspells / snap opt up here. We know they have some colonnades, so potentially saving the spreading seas for one of those has some value. My grizzly cleric and I are going the distance. We're going for speed. How badly do I want this Snapcaster Mage? Not very badly. What's going on, Todd? Thanks for the 17 months. Welcome back. Oh, this is symmetrical? Shit, it's 2021. Since when do we print symmetrical hate cards? It's exiled my Lightning Helix. That just ain't right, chat. All hate cards printed after 2019 are supposed to be asymmetrical. I thought them's just the rules now. It's a white card, it can't be good. Oh, that makes sense. Okay. Spread them. Yeah, Blissey looks sweet. My Pokemon Unite video that'll go up in about an hour and a half on YouTube will be thoughts on Blissey as well as a review of the patch notes. And we're gonna be ending the stream today with some Unite action. Morning, Lou. Yeah, I'm gonna concede at this point. We're dead. Yeah, Mystic Dispute. Brutal. I honestly, the fact that like they have Mystic Dispute probably means this was close to being a wasted board slot, I think. And the addition of Mystic Dispute means you basically can never resolve this card in the matchup that it's intended for, so it should probably just like punt that matchup that's difficult and just like play something else here. They're effectively doing the same thing we are, only instead of having mediocre combo cards in their deck, they just have more card advantage, which just buries us. Isn't Mono White one of the best decks in Standard 22? Yes, Mono White aggro is one of the best decks in a format that isn't real. You are correct. It is accurate to say in a format that will never exist in the competitive sense that Mono White is currently good. Also, it's worth noting, even if that archetype stays good as we head into actual standard in the fall, that deck isn't a deck that's good because of individually powerful cards. It is a deck that's good because it's a sum of its parts style deck. So I've enjoyed playing Kiki cards specifically in Modern, but I think the thing I'm looking forward to most is rotation. I would snap answer Standard 22 is my favorite format at the moment. But there's no best of three and there's no sideboarding, which sucks a lot of the joy out of it for me. Man, peak Magic the Gathering is queuing into a deck that you haven't played against in a really long time, twice in a row. After talking about how it hasn't been popular. It's good times. That's how that works. Although with the fire and ice, this is probably the Omnath variation. We'll see. Could be straight Jeskai again, but yeah, I just don't know how we ever win from here. Oh, they're brainstorming. Sure, now I can bolt it. Chat, always Fate Seal with your Jace in the bolt matchup. Always Fate Seal with your Jace. This is a part where they play 5-mana Teferi. Okay. So Negation, Stroke, Geist to Saint Traft, couple of Sanctifiers, leave a bolt in. We boarded in explosives last time because we saw us secure the ways, but until we see that, I'm not going to board that in. I mean, Elementals isn't Jeskai control. That archetype's fairly different. Adding Omnath and Risen recent stuff changes the dynamic quite a bit. The Elementals deck has been popular. Actual factual Jeskai control, like we've now keyed into twice in a row, that's a atrocious matchup, has not been popular. Thanks for the follow, Traft MTG. Welcome to the channel this morning. I'm looking forward to exploring tribal decks in Historic when Historic Horizons releases next week. But if I'm completely transparent and honest, I'm also not expecting Jeskai control to not just be the best deck in Historic still. So I'm expecting most of people's tribal dreams to get Memory Lapse, Lightning Helix, and Wrath of Godhead into the ground. So rotation is definitely what I'm looking forward to the most. Now, Historic Brawl's been fun. I brain farted on that format for a second. That one's been good. Okay. Snapcaster Mage is a nice draw. You know what? They can't do anything too big next turn. I'm just gonna snap Opt this turn. This is my third turn. They're just trying to like keep me off of a land tier. I don't think they're likely to counterspell play anything I want to counterspell next turn. I think just putting this into play and cantripping it has some value here. Alright, Snapcaster. 10 more turns, 9 more turns. Let's go. Yes. Yeah, if you're playing all B-list commanders, Historic Brawl is easily the most diverse format on Arena. Nice. It's nice when they segment off the tryhards. Look at that. They drew 2, but it's going to be a draw 2 discard one. It's removing hand size here. So it's a good exchange for us. This is what we refer to as virtual card advantage in the biz. We are +1 card on the opponent because they had to discard a card to hand size. Just gonna chill on these counter spells. Your move, Yugi boy. As you will. Yangrath is S tier. Sure it is. No fire, no steel. I need Kaya commander list. It's not something we've played yet this season. It's on my list though. List of things to get to eventually. I counterspell this. I want to keep my threat in play, I think. Hey, look, chat. It's yet another reason we can never win this matchup. Yeah, I'm just gonna go to the next match. We just like their deck is just our deck, but it's doesn't have bad combo cards to have card advantage in utility lands and mean we can't win. So hopefully we can queue into not just got control and get some decent matches going, but that match I could play for another 30 minutes and it'll have the same result here as me right clicking and saying concede. It's the 2/3 of a year therapy. I appreciate that. Welcome back. This is a donation submission. Otherwise, probably would have just conceded the match in game one. But just pretty textbook. Gonna be from there. We've got these helixes that don't really do anything. They've got more card advantage and counterspells than we do. They've got these utility lands that put us away. Outside of getting very lucky and punking them out, which we were past the point where we could do that in that game, we're not gonna get on the scoreboard there. Yeah, I mean, I was already moving away from doing nearly as much modern, and if blue white control and Jeskai are gonna be popping back up, that'll drive that nail firmly into the coffin. Not blue white control. Okay, Chancellor of the Forge. So they are probably a Indomitable creativity deck? Maybe? Oh, they're the Warp World deck. Okay. The Warp World deck. So this investigates twice. We're just looking for our counterspell at this point. Unfortunately, we're on the draw this game, which means I can't get Teferi down before they cascade. My body is ready to get violent outbursted. Hopefully there's planning to draw a card here. Sick. Okay, and then Teferi shuts off Cascade, so they can't combo us anymore until they take him out of play. Oh, they were missing a color to play Ardent Blade. Good for us. So we'll go fetch. We'll go Felidar, blink Teferi. Push Teferi to 5. Go. This will be one of the matchups where our copy of Nyx here in the sideboard gets to come in. Counter target spell if no mana was spent to cast it. We killing my Teferi or my Felidar Guardian? Alright, we're killing my Teferi. So I assume they're going to cascade this turn. So we'll block one of these. It takes one of their permanents out of play, but we might die here. So they cascade into a one-sided warp world here. All Gum, thanks for the follow. Welcome to the channel today. BT dubs for folks that are new or regulars, by the way, as part of the Marvel promo that I have for the stream sponsorship this week. If you are a non-sub who plays through the Marvel promo and sends me a screenshot of your account at level 2, you can get a free sub gift to the channel. Yep. So all of these things come into play. This draws a card. This recasts the Glimpse from Tomorrow from the bin. This makes them a bunch of food or treasure tokens. And then they get to do it again and get even more permanence. So for the sake of content, I'm gonna go ahead and let you see how their deck flips things over here. And get my auto pass on. I assume the opponent's deck being played in paper is just like the equivalent of playing 52 card pickup. So now they have many more permanents than the 5 they had previous. So they do this again. They actually don't have... They don't have another Cascade here. And they missed on the ability to kill my thing. They're making a bunch of mana with Omnath, though, and they're going to have some clues here. Oh, wait, those are treasures. Okay, so they have a ton of mana. Does a mana kill me? I don't think so, right? Oh, these make clues. Okay, so if these make and they get to draw cards as Season Empire answers, so they could draw into a Cascade card here. And the Chancellor makes a bunch of goblins. But they've already attacked this turn, because they had to attack Teferi down. Are we getting back on the wild ride? Do you have another Cascade? Yep, there's another Cascade. And now this one leaves a glimpse in the bin, so now they hit Dark Dweller. Straw optional. Am I dead here, or are they dead to Season Pyromancer? Oh, I'm dead to Omnath. I'm dead to Omnath is how this works. Right? Or does it depend on how they get stacked? If they stack the Omnath triggers first, they lose to Seasoned Pyromancer, right? There's Omnath card draws in here too. Yeah, you see some crazy things in the O2 bracket press a pick. MTG bot said they were 1 and 2 when the match started, and we're 0 and 2. How many triggers do they have? Well, they have 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. They have 17 times 3. So they have 51 Omnath triggers. And then they have 51 Provisioner triggers. And they have 3 of these, and 3 of these, and 2 and 2. Well, they don't have that many mountains, so Valakut wouldn't really do much. Yeah, I believe they have approximately 100 and 100 to 150 triggers to put on the stack here. Is my understanding. All right, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna go publish my Pokemon Unite video for the day a little bit early. So that way anybody that wants to go watch some Jeff content while we wait for our opponent to play their deck here. They conceded and left the game. All right, never mind. Never mind. Masterfully played. Masterfully played. Nailed it. All right. JK, you gotta wait till 10 a.m. for the Pokemon Unit video. Some Force of Negation, some Nyx. We'll cut these Path to Exiles. Engineered Explosives sounds good. Sanctifier en-Vec sounds good. You know, I'll often not be one to claim that I played a game perfectly, but my execution on that last one was quite superb. Please nerf the auto pass. Oh, maybe I should bring in Stony Silence. That's a good thought. I'm mulligan this. No counterspell. Only half my combo. This kind of has a counterspell. Kind of. It's for the follow, Mad Lab. Listen, chat. On Arena, I would have conceded to their sweet combo there. But this is Moto, and it's online gambling, and we have real money on the line, so we'll play some hardball for my digital bucks. Okay. So Sanctifier stops them from recasting their thing from the bin, which is nice. Snorlax did in fact get a much needed nerf. They also side graded Greninja, which was great. I would also like a Blastoise, but I'm also excited to play some Blissey today. You can see patch notes. I just published my Pokemon Unite video for the day. That goes over the detailed patch notes. So they can Cascade here, but they only get one Cascade out of it. It's fine. Goodbye, friends. People aren't playing Hard Evidence to strictly counter Ragavan. It's a combo enabler inside of Indomitable Creativity. So they play it, but like strictly Ragavan isn't strictly the reason it gets played. Okay, well, we'll do this, and we get 2 shots at an untap land for next turn. Eldraine chat. Eldraine. Okay, they've suspended Glimpse. Tick, tick, boom. Sedge. Shocked that in. Like a Fury here. Like hard casting Chancellor. Hard cast Waveshifter, yeah. Does Nyx counter suspend spells? Yes, they were cast for free. Paying mana to suspend a card doesn't count as paying mana to cast it. We're gonna kind of get buried by their value backup plane here, huh? This Waveshifter is gonna like smack us around in the air. How long have I been playing Magic for? I started playing Magic with the release of Odyssey, which was 2001, I believe. I played very casually for a long time, though. I didn't have a DCI number until New Phyrexia, which is about a decade ago. Mostly did drafts in basement and kitchen table Magic. And had a group of like 20 to 30 people that would get together once a month and draft in my buddy's basement. Hey, thanks for the 27 months, Ornell. I appreciate that. Welcome back. Nah, let's nix that. You had a trophy. That's fancy. I remember seeing 20 to 30 people in the same place as me vaguely. All right, I mean, the last time this happened, we won, so. I don't think that's likely to happen this time, though, right? They can't recast the Glimpse here, but we're also not beating this board state, so I'm going to go ahead and concede. The Stony Silence is a good suggestion. I'm going to board that in, trim one of these helixes. Rip DCI numbers. That's right. Those aren't a thing anymore, right? They no longer exist. Okay. Counterspell and double Teferi. Will I play in the NRG series? I don't know. Will the United States get the Delta variation under control? Find out all this and more next time on Dragon Ball Z. Oh, I should have fetched a Triome here, right? If you told me there was a paper tournament tomorrow, I would tell you I do not currently feel comfortable playing in a paper Magic tournament. Hey, thanks, Trevor. Checked out the Marvel sponsor. Appreciate you taking a couple minutes out of your day to do that for me. Inching towards that 175 goal. Let's get rid of that one. If they have Seasoned Pyromancer next turn, we could be in a little bit of trouble. All right. We didn't deserve to win that one, but thanks to the magic that is Magic Online, we did. So on the scoreboard, I guess. My kids had their first day of in-person school this morning, and I am crossing my fingers and saying quiet prayer to whatever higher power exists that goes okay without event. They were beyond excited. Declan's going into first grade. His entire kindergarten year was virtual, so he's never been to an actual school before. Jake only got to go to kindergarten for half a year. He had a year and a half of virtual school, so they both really needed it. So hopefully it goes well. We have a mask mandate for our district. Well, not perfect. It's a little bit of something. So we'll see. I mean, all you can really do is hope. I heard saw a thing that said they're expecting the FTC or whatever they're called to approve vaccines for 5 to 11 as early as October. It would be great if that happened. Do your part, chat. Get your shot. Don't be part of the reason the world stays jacked up. Yeah, we're at 12 to 17 here as well. Silence. They did not offer remote learning options to start. I imagine if they have issues, they'll pivot to offering them, but to start, there were not any offered. And if I'm being completely honest, even if they'd offered them to start after the last year and a half, the kids needed in person. There's obviously some amount of risk involved with it, but remote learning just doesn't hit the same. Merfolk. Chat, we made it to the Merfolk bracket. Kill them with fire. Great. And I think this is a matchup where, especially given the board state, this might get Force of Negation. But if it doesn't get Force of Negation, we're going up to start because we want to be able to tempo their board a little bit here. I imagine most children under 14 and even some of those in high school are going to be behind from doing remote learning. Christy and I have been doing what we can with the kids over the summer. We had a private tutor in with them as well because we're fortunate enough to be able to afford that, and they're still not quite where they need to be based on how old they are. It's not particularly exciting in the face of Cavern of Souls. First thing we're able to counterspell. Yep, sign me up. Get it out of here. Westlack, thank you for the 32 months. I appreciate that. Welcome back. Got a lot of options here with the Snapcaster Mage, including this one. Probably just snapping a bolt, I imagine. Hey, Colin Coursemount, thanks for the Prime support. There's a ton of great people you can ship that to every single one through on Twitch. Thanks for sending it this way this month. Yeah, big mood saving. The biggest thing that all of COVID came out is like I owe Jurassic Park writers an apology. When I first watched Jurassic Park, I was of the opinion that everything that occurred was really unrealistic and the people were far too stupid. Nah, those writers nailed it. What do you mean you're reopening the park? That's incredibly dumb. Oh, I understand now. Got it. They were really far ahead of their time. No way the owners reopen the park after so many deaths. So I Tefried their Aether Vial last turn, which might have been. We're definitely Tefreeing our Snapcaster Mage and Snapcastering Bolt next turn, and it might have been right, honestly, to do that the previous turn. Because it's basically like rebuying a removal spell, right? And now I'm not going to have the option to. That's rough. This is where the magic happens. I think I flubbed not bouncing my Snapcaster Mage on the previous cycle. Am I supposed to keep this, or am I supposed to? This is probably better than a random. It could be right to like ship looking for Felidar or Saheeli, but or Snapcaster. We ran into an impossibly bad matchup that hasn't been popular the first two matches. We queued into another matchup that we should have lost, but our opponent lost because Moto is Moto, and now we're playing match number 4. Okay, here's a Snapcaster Mage. The underrated David, thanks for the follow. Good morning. One of my friends who's a teacher thinks it'll take 5 years to get back on track to where kids were before. Possibly. I mean, especially kids like my kids' age, like the amount of development you do in the really early years is really crucial. Those kids are going to be behind. Not just my own. All right, so we're snapping Helix here on the Tide Shaper. And then we can Teferi pick the Snapcaster Mage back up next turn. Deal Arena. Elevator going up. You know, honestly, they showed us Dismember, so I'm going to play around Dismember by not putting the Snapcaster Mage into play right away. I'm going to path this Merfolk Trickster, and if they don't sorcery speed, play out another Merfolk, I'm going to snap Opt at the end of their turn to cantrip the Snapcaster, and then we'll Teferi pick the Snap back up on our turn. Fetch land out of our deck before we Opt. Sure. Yeah. Why not? Deal. It's garbage time. You don't have to go home, but you can't play here. Do 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 do. Do 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 do. So I'm gonna blink this. I'm gonna bounce the Felidar Guardian. I'm gonna play the Felidar Guardian and blink the Teferi again. I'm the bad man. Duh. Oh no, they have a 3-mana card. Other merfolk you control have Ward 1. Other, huh? Other merfolk, huh? Yes, we can spend 4 mana to draw a card as many times as we can spend 4 mana. Would you say my opponent is ready to swim with the fishes, chat? All right, we're now 34 cards into our deck without a Saheeli. Thankfully, it's not a matchup where that matters. No, not an island walk, merfolk. How will we ever win the game now? Oh no! Morning, Astelia. Yeah, they must be playing for clock damage at this point, right? I mean, to be fair, I'm taking significantly more game actions than them. Hey, sweet red. I see I have a DM waiting from you, so I assume that's what that says. I'll write that down. That should be good. We don't have a full squad for Friday yet. Definitely saltwater merfolk. Ah, yes. Last turn we played around me having a removal spell. This turn I definitely won't have it. All right, good. That was the Snapcaster that broke the camel's back. All right, we're gonna get to combo them next turn, anyways. All right, so explosives is good. Prismatic ending is good. Counter spells are not good. Stony Silence? I guess Stony Silence turns off. So I'll bring in Wear Tear. They have Spreading Seas and Aether Vial. This has got to be a mulligan, right? Need some Doom Blades. All right. Would Nyx be a good card in Historic? No, I don't think so. Wouldn't be playable. It's only playable here because we got all these free elemental things. Raz! Thank you for the sub gift. So close to Shillionaire I can taste it. Closing in. Hey, thanks Trevor checked out the Marvel promo. Appreciate you taking a couple minutes out of your day to do that for me. Do I just bolt this? I think I just bolt this. Yeah, Dwarven Mine's an Eldraine card. There's so many overtly offensive cards from Eldraine that you almost lose track of how many subtly offensive cards there were in Eldraine. There's so many just like, oh, wait, that random little one. Yeah, Mystic Sanctuary was an Eldraine card as well. Yeah. There's so many of them. Yeah, I agree. I think they I think the common cycle had typing because they wanted them to enable each other. They wanted like multiple dwarven minds to synergize with each other, especially for limited, would be my guess. But from a you can fetch these things standpoint, I don't know what they expected to happen. Should have blown this up right away to prevent them from getting another 2-drop off of this. So we'll do this, clean out these. I think we're probably pathing the Lord of Atlantis here. Yeah, and I didn't have to give them this. I basically gave them an extra Lord here with my sequencing timing. I should have blown the E on my turn at sorcery speed. I'd be taking one less damage here, and they'd have less board presence if I had. Yep. Rough. Alright, for mana, definitely biting us a little bit here. Okay. This is a spell. Nah, I think I need to play it as a land, so I have a second wind source potentially. Alright. I think we just jam this. Okay. Might be stabilizing. Right? This is going back to their hand. which gets rid of a lot of their counterplay at this point. If they put their Lord into play and try and kill my Teferi, we get to bolt their Lord and then eat their Silver Girl in combat. Meatball's a little scary. Hey, CJ, thanks for upping the Prime for the second month. Welcome back. Appreciate the support. What if I +1 Teferi this turn, and then next turn I can bounce Spreading Seas and get an extra cantrip out of it? I also might just want to bounce the Felidar again next turn. We can dodge an Island Walk Lord. We can dodge a ball. Yikes. Okay. This is where I would put my Israel sweating emote if I had one. Okay. Oh, we're halfway there. Yeah, there might be Saheeli's in our deck. I'm actually a little unsure. Could be. I mean, like, the people saying we've had decent draws, like, a decent draw would be one of our 4 planeswalkers in the top half of our deck that won the game on the spot. So, like, yeah, I guess we haven't drawn lands, but, like, I could be drawing all lands, I suppose, but our draws really have been pretty mediocre. Yeah, or a Snapcaster Mage would be great too. We've had 0 Snapcasters, 0 Saheelis in 28 cards. We were playing 3 Snap and 4 Saheeli. What's going on, Duck? Good morning. Thankfully, our opponent's playing Merfolk, so the fact that, like, we've bricked off here hasn't been a big deal, but We are not playing Iteration. We're playing Opt, which could be a mistake. The real combo is the cards we drew along the way. Big mood. Yeah, expressive iteration is busted. How does this work? If I copy it, does it still work? I think it creates a copy of the original card, right? Yeah. Okay. Even if that didn't work, like, we're still gonna win the game. We kill this and then Magic is a game that's easy and intuitive to understand. Save targets. Always yes. Alright. Good job. Alright, Chip. This one's for the 3-2s. If we win this, we get $7 extra. There's a lot of pressure here. Hope nobody chokes. Luris. Oh, no. Palms are sweaty, knees weak, arms are heavy. Brainstone. Okay. I want to make sure we thoroughly explore all our options, Chip. They're playing Counterbalance. That's hilarious. Maybe I'm just supposed to pass with Snap Opt up there. Yeah, this was the counterspell of my childhood. I was confused. I didn't see the Discord notification, but I saw Jeff was online, and then I realized I only had arena notifications. Yep. I did remember to tag Discord this morning. Yeah, I'll take that. They're holding the bauble. Wonder if that means they have Fatal Push. Yeah, the reason we kept the second opt is now I get to just jam Kit Kat here. And if it resolves and they don't kill the Snapcaster Mage, we then get to opt again. Opponent probably has removal and counterspell and trying to decide which one they want to use. Fatal Push read on point. Cycle Unearth you. Not there Grixis. Could be Grixis, could be Esper. I believe the kids say YOLO. So they could like crack, bobble, and snap Fatal Push here, and then we'll path the Snapcaster to keep Saheeli alive for follow-up cats. We'll want to path on their upkeep. So that way they don't have the untap land next turn. Bobble, one of the many reasons path is better in this format than it is in historic. Or push is better in this format, sorry, than it is in historic. Path would be absurd in historic. It don't. Path don't care. Path is like the honey badger of removal chat. It'll get you. So if they have a counterspell, they're gonna have a counterspell for my cat then. So like counterspell is gonna get us regardless. So I might as well just like give them the not have the upside of this. Also, if I path on my turn, they then have snap counterspell available to them to stop my cat the following turn, and I'd prefer they not have snap counterspell available. So Chad is right that there is some risk to the sequence that I took here, but it also plays around some other things. I'd rather expose myself to that risk rather than play into the other things they're likely to have. Come on, opponent, tap out. What are the odds I have the third Felidar Guardian? Teferi was the best draw in our deck. This is probably second best draw. Welcome to the Space Jam. It's time to slam. Had enough of that. Away with it. Away. I can blink, my friend. Let's blink, my friend. Do 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 do. Do 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 do. Save targets. Save targets and always yes doesn't work. Always yield works for some reason, but save targets and always yes doesn't. Why even have them as options if they're not going to work, Magic Online? Why are they even there? Well, no, so like that's the thing. If none of them worked, I'd be like, okay, it's a trigger coming from a different cat. I understand. But always yield works. Always yield works. One of the three doesn't work. Or one of the three works and the other two don't. So why does one of them work but the other two don't? It doesn't matter which one I click on. You smell the sodium, chat? Salt is in the air everywhere we look around. Do 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 do. Do 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 do. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Is that right? I like how it's grouped some of them, but not all of them. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Blinked Saheeli is not considered the same target. Okay, what about the always yes? What about the always yes? Do I have 0 cards for this matchup? Are they a Murktide deck? Path seems kind of suspect. I'll board in these Force of Negations, I suppose, and we'll trim 2 paths. Everything else seems kind of bad. Well, I guess Rest in Peace is fine. You want me to sideboard in Geist? Oh yeah, Lura speeds to Murktide. Good call. I guess Geist is probably better than Path. Yeah, but like if I didn't like the always yes and always yield, those are like optional things, right? So if I didn't want them to do that, I wouldn't enable it or I'd turn it off. So I think erring on the side of caution with something like that really doesn't make sense from a design standpoint in terms of how you're designing your interface. So remember, Pact of Negation only is free on your opponent's turn. So it will not be free on our turn to protect our combo. But I think just having like an actual factual cancel when we try and combo will probably be good in spots. Like I think 3 mana negates probably playable in this matchup as like the TLDR. Hey, Ragnaros, thank you for the entire year of support. I really appreciate that. Welcome back. Cling to Dust, cute. I guess that's pretty good in Snapcaster Mirrors, huh? Like stops my Snapcaster Mage and draws them a card. You can dig it. Did I say Pact? I meant Force. Obviously. I meant the card we are playing. Like you. I'm just gonna counter their divination. So my opponent's missing land drops, and they're at 7 cards in hand. So even though I hit my land and could play Saheeli with Counterspell up, I'm not going to jam into whatever they have here because I'd prefer that they potentially discard to hand size. And again, I'm gonna counter their divination while they're stumbling. Now, if they hit a land drop here, I'm gonna jam Saheeli next turn. But if they miss on their land again, I'm just going to pass again. There's no reason for me to play in. The onus is on them to be blinking basically when they're at max cards in hand, and I am not. Maybe boarding out the Spreading Seas gave me too few blink targets for Felidar. Perhaps I should leave all the season in this matchup for that reason. Volky. Sure. I did play some more Strike Force last night off stream. I don't know that I fully understand everything that the game's doing, but it's got some neat parts to it. I'm a sucker. I'm a sucker for games that I can play on my cell phone. So I think they have a counterspell pretty likely here, so I'm just going to play Saheeli to start. Second Saheeli is actually a really good draw. So now we get to jam this, and then next turn, if they can't kill this, we get to play Felidar with Counterspell it. Definitely in for another Counterspell. Welcome to the jam. It's time to slam. Yeah, it's our last match of the day for Modern. We're going for about 2 hours. We're going to swap it over to Submarina. I think we fight over this, right? Have another counterspell. I can like run back Felidar plus counterspell next turn. Worth noting, they only knew about the other art counterspell. Yeah, Magic Online's a fucking trash piece of software. It's just like on Magic Arena, I'd have it revealed there, but instead I'm supposed to like expend mental energy remembering which artwork my opponent has seen, which is just god awful. I'm in for rip actually, assuming we don't kill them here. Okie doke. So we spewed a little bit of information on that exchange because our opponent knew about one of the cards in our hand they shouldn't have known about because of the Magic Online interface. Ah, yes, the classic Nihil Spellbomb drawn in the lock deck. A tried and true modern strategy. And this just all's in a really good spot, he said optimistically. Yeah, I mean, at one point our opponent, like, almost discarded to hand size, so, like, they had 7 spells in hand. How's the opponent killing us? There's a 3-2 with lifelink that's on the top right of your screen. I assume that it involves that. Oh, there's a Hall of the Storm Giants. It's actually a pretty real card. Leave our options on top. Saheeli's ultimate has no text in this deck. And I cling something out of their own bin to draw a card here. -7 win an EDH game. Yep. Accurate. This is where the magic happens, Chip. I assume there's more counter spells in their hand. So, for the people that are talking about sequencing on my Saheeli and my Opt, if I scry it was Saheeli first, and I see a card that I want, I then opt, and I've only seen one card. Whereas my sequencing gives me a chance to have opt hit a card that I want and then get a scry after. So in this particular instance, where I had, Saheeli, where I had Felidar Guardian being the third card down, it ends up being a bit worse for us. But in the average case sequence, I think my sequencing is ideal. The third Flusterstorm? Please be dead to this Felidar Guardian. 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 They have a fatal push, chat. They have a fatal push, and I can feel it. I can feel the fatal push on top of their deck. It's in their hand, chat. It's coming for us. They have this stupid Mishra's Bauble. Yeah, we're just dead. Take game 3 on the play. I think I want all the spreading seas to be able to cantrip these. I worried about them animating the hall and killing Saheeli their next turn? Yeah. They also like had Luris with a bauble in their bin, so like they're gonna draw 2 cards a turn while having a 3/2 lifelinker. So yeah, we're dead. I mean, like, yeah, I think for further, just for reference for a Pelican, I think stating that the draw 2 is better than the cheaper draw 1 in the grindy matchup is kind of silly. Like, obviously, when I'm playing against a control deck that's looking to 2-for-1 us a bunch, having a 2-for-1 ourselves is better than having a draw 1. Like, derp, yeah. You are correct, but also like, yeah. Am I getting spell pierced? Oh, they're clinging. Sure, deal. This rest in peace might put them away. It turns off a lot of their cards. All right, chat. Ready to slam? It's time to jam. Show me counterspell. Show me potato salad. They have potato salad, chat. Yikes. Yoinks. I think they have such a low density of cards that matter with Rest in Peace in play that I'm actually just supposed to let their Divination resolve now. Well, there isn't a Grixis Triome. Yeah, they had Sultai and Temur Triome, but we haven't seen any green cards out of them. Yeah, but like there's a blue-black cycle land that cycles for 2. So like if their goal was just like a fetchable land that cycles, there's a better one to be playing. Maybe they don't know that one exists. They could be a standard player that's branching out into modern. They could also have a green splash in their sideboard. Like maybe they have Abrupt Decay or Assassin's Trophy to answer things like Rust in Peace. I don't know what MID stands for. I still don't know what card you're talking about. Or are you talking about the new one that surveils? Yeah, the new card that surveils is opt, but surveils instead of scries is strictly better in almost every deck in modern that uses their graveyard incidentally. I don't know what Midnight Hunt is, so I don't like telling me Midnight Hunt. The surveil opt. Surveil opt tells me what it is. Yeah, the surveil opt will just replace opt for sure. Yeah, but the context in this instance, even they weren't talking about a set; they were talking about a card. So I was attempting to understand the context that they were using. Alright, so they have Counterspell plus Fluster Storm. My Teferi doesn't resolve, but otherwise he will. Listen, chat. I'm simply referring to the fall set as Return to the Battles of the Shadows over Innistrad, and you can't stop me. Yeah, Dreadstone has been seeing play somewhat consistently at Cantrip, so it's pretty reasonable. Two counter spells. I'm gonna burn one of them on this. Just lets me use my mana for the turn. Yeah, they have a breeding pool too. They must have a green splash. I'd wager it's got to be for like trophy or decay or something. Return to the battles of the shadows over Innistrad Rising. Yeah, exactly. Nailed it. Okay. If we draw an untapped land next turn, the Hall of the Storm Giants plus the Bolt is lethal, right? So I'm a Bolt their Dome. Pass for now. Hold the Force of Negation up. The real Dr. Destroyer, thanks for the 24 months. Welcome back. So we went 3-2. I think we probably should have gone 2-3. The Moto interface killed our third opponent in that set. The Saheeli Felidar package just did not feel particularly good in this deck. I don't know that when we got this combo together, we would have lost any of those matches if it had just been like 5 mana Teferi, for example. I felt like the amount of like closing power and locking up a game a powerful planeswalker like Hero of Dominaria does, while it obviously doesn't literally win the game outright, it figuratively wins the game or wins the game in the long term in most situations. And just like the individual power level of these cards, they're just pretty meh. Like, while Spreading Season's a particularly embarrassing card, like Felidar, when we don't have one of these three other cards, is just so medium. Yeah, I think overall, this felt probably worse than a kind of typical Jeskai control shell, like we lost to in the first two matches would feel in the format on average. Just, play some Hero of Dominaria, play a couple of Jace the Mind Sculptor as your finishers, and just have a little bit go bigger that way, as opposed to trying to assemble these two individually weak cards for an infinite combo. And then the flip side of that too is, if you're just being Jeskai control with the Planeswalker top end, are you just supposed to have a green splash for things like Omnath, like a lot of people have been doing? And the answer is probably